Good evening, everyone. My name is Min Jung Kim, and I'm the Director and CEO of the New Britain Museum of American Art. Thank you for joining us tonight as part of a series of week-long virtual events to commemorate Martin Luther King Jr. and to honor his life, his legacy, and his vision. I'd like to thank our community advisory group for helping us put together an amazing roster of programs this week, and special thanks to Adrian and Elliott for hosting tonight's event. It is really exciting to see so many creatives from our city and our region coming together around Dr. King's hallmark message of love, sharing their gifts and their skills, and in doing so, connecting with us as well as each other. Like the name of tonight's event, Love Loud, which celebrates the ability to love boldly and freely, I am excited to welcome tonight's performers, whose willingness to show glimpses of love in their lives will surely captivate us all tonight. So without further ado, I'd like to get us started and pass it on to Stephanie Stucali, who's the New Britain Museum of American Art's Coordinator of Youth Studio and Family Programs. Stephanie.
Thank you, Min, for the wonderful opening remarks to get this evening started. Thank you all tonight. Thank you all for joining the museum tonight for what is going to be a fantastic open mic event in honor of Dr. King and his hallmark message of love. Tonight is just one event in a week-long celebration of Dr. King that we're calling The Power of Love, as Min mentioned, which is supported by the New Britain Commission on the Arts and the Connecticut Department of Economic and Community Development Office of the Arts. I've had the pleasure to work with tonight's host, as she is involved in the museum's community advisory group. She's a very active member of it. And she is one of the minds behind this week's Power of Love program series. Ever since she came to Connecticut 20 years ago from DC, she's been a devoted arts advocate in the city, serving several terms on the New Britain Arts Commission and New Britain Arts Co-op. As curator of Gallery 66, she brings quality exhibits and programs to downtown New Britain. Her contributions to local arts have been recognized by Connecticut Magazine and the Greater New Britain Arts Alliance. She currently serves as the Communications Associate at the Friendship Service Center. She certainly is no stranger to open mics here in New Britain. She's been leading open mics for New Britain's downtown for 4 years now. Please give a big virtual applause for our host tonight, Adrian Elliott.
Wow, what an introduction there, Stephanie. Well, I appreciate you and all those kind words there. I hope we got some people that's viewing, because I'm super excited to be a part of the welcoming back, the new, right? You know, for weeks and months now, we've tried to figure out how to, I know I have, and been stressed behind it. How can we now engage artists at this day and time, right? And, you know, Stephanie and those guys at the museum and some other folks here have managed to figure it out. The new way is this way. It's through collaborations, it's through, you know, figuring out like, how can we make things better while you're sitting right at home? And I want to welcome you to my home, my living room. Anybody that knows me knows this is how I always start. This is the downtown district right here. If you guys notice, the walls are vacant of art because of the pandemic, but it's not vacant of the joy and the hope of art, because I sit before you right here. So let's get on to stuff. I'm excited. There's a lot going on. We have about an hour or so presentation for you guys. If you're listening, if you're right here, we're gonna ask you right now, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. You don't wanna miss this, all right? So let's get started. Enough, I tried to dress for the occasion, and I wanna welcome the visitors, to the gallery here. But let's get started. And let's start with the diversity of this thing. We talked about the love loud open mic, but it's more than that. It's more than the noise that loud noise. It's more about the compassion now and making yourself and within you a louder sound. So I had the pleasure of speaking with this young lady on several emails, and I'm happy to have her join my artist friendship. She'll have me. But let's get right to it. Belly dancing, right? Belly dancing. Who would have thought? Laska, you want to take it from here?
Okay, thank you so much. I wanted to thank the New Britain Museum for opening its celebration to all art forms. You may be wondering why a belly dancer is included here in an MLK celebration, but belly dance is, well, actually the name is transitioning to Minot dancing, and that stands for the Middle East, North Africa, Hellenic, and Turkish. Hellenic is for Greek, the whole Mediterranean area. And this dance is a dance of celebration for all these cultures. And here we are celebrating the legacy of Dr. King all week long. Minot dancing is international. There are Minot dancers of every nationality across the globe. The song I selected for this performance is very old, although its exact origins are unknown. According to Shira.net, which has a wealth of resources on Minot dancing, Lamabada, the name of the song, began as an Arabic poem that dates to around the 9th or 10th century from what was then Islamic Spain, possibly Cordoba, a great center of culture and learning in the Middle Ages. However, the poet may actually have been of Iraqi descent, an Iraqi court musician who moved to Cordoba. Now, the poem, the polite tradition in Arabic song is to use a male pronoun to refer to a female. So the object of love could be either male or female. So we're talking romantic love here. The English translation I found is from Lenny Clark, which is also on Shira.net. It's very short. It says, when she begins to sway, so I have the veil here to sway, my love, the beautiful one, attracts me. She or he commands us with a look, with a wink. For a while we look at him or her. Always when the branches sway gracefully. My promise, my confusion, will he or she respond mercifully to my complaint? Who can understand my complaint of love except the king or queen of beauty? So it was set to music much later. And I chose an instrumental version of the song by the Salatin El Tarab Orchestra. And I'm using the veil because the veil, when you think of swaying, you think of the veil just swaying gracefully in the breeze. It seemed the perfect instrument. So I hope you enjoy it. Thank you.
Laska, that was beautiful. It was incredible. I purposely didn't watch your submission tape because I wanted to have the original reaction to watching such beautiful dance. I can't say I've ever met another belly dancer. I'm hoping I speak for most of the folks watching here. Wow. And it seems like you're so connected to the veil. Like, is it like something you take everywhere with you?
It's your dance partner.
I feel the connection there. I don't know about everyone else, but I feel like there's some energy between you and the veil there. Share with us and the folks that are watching, why belly dancing? Why start there? I don't think I've ever remembered a time when I entertained the thought of being a belly dancer. Share with us, please.
It was totally by accident. I had always wanted to dance, but I grew up in a tiny town in Wisconsin, and there were really no opportunities to take any kind of dance classes. So I just tried to dance to videos. And then when I got to college, you could actually take classes. And then I went with, the modern dance. And then I did Afro-Caribbean. And then at school that one year, there were no open dance classes. And the only one that was open, and it was not part of the department, it was actually in the gym, was a belly dance class. Like, well, I want to dance, so I'll just sign up for it and see what happens. And I totally fell in love with it. So
by coincidence.
I got
it. Right. And then just share with us just a little bit about how you felt like this piece connect with our theme with the MLK week, and how your submission was appropriate in sense for what we're recognizing and celebrating this week.
Well, I thought it fit absolutely perfectly because it's among the dance world. This is the MLK dance world. This is a very well-known song. Everybody dances to it. It's a this well-known love song, and it was so touching and so old and so international. And to me, the idea of diversity, this dance form is so diverse and has so many, there's so many different components of it that just struck me as, sending a message that, there's a lot of misinformation and misunderstanding about belly dance, now me not dancing. So I also hope to dispel some of those sort of Hollywood 19th century Orientalist notions of what this dance is, and it really is a dance of celebration. Everyone in the MLK countries dances sort of like this, but they dance at home. It's for celebrations. So
exactly.
Yeah.
The one thing I did feel the entire performance there is like it was New Year's Eve. Like it was a time for like 3 minutes or more, nothing else mattered. It was just this thing about watching and movement and catching this, and I appreciate you for that. I needed that break, so to speak, right?
Thank you. That is so perfect. That is what I love about this dance, because usually we're hired for celebrations, for private parties, birthdays, retirement parties, graduation ceremonies, any kind of occasion that is just happiness and celebration and joy. This dance is really a dance of joy. And I'm just so happy that I was able to share this with you here tonight.
Exactly. So don't go away yet, because we want to encourage the people that are watching to ask questions. I mean, watching the chat the feed right now. We appreciate those guys that are watching. We really, really do. If you're watching and you want another relative to watch, please share, tag, and all that stuff, because we're just getting started, right? We're just getting started. So I have another question for you.
Yes.
And I know everyone wants to ask this question, but I'm gonna ask it because they made me the host.
Okay.
How lucrative is this business of belly dancing?
I think in terms of the arts, you know, in general are not gigantic money makers. So basically, you know, there's private parties, maybe like festivals or an occasional corporate event, and then teaching, you know, teaching dance classes. So that's pretty much it. So most dancers that I know also have, you know, a regular full-time or part-time job.
All right, great answer. Okay, this is a question for me.
Okay.
You know, I grew up as an athlete, right? I'm kind of sculptured now, but I'm not so strong. But I want to know the benefits. Is there any benefits from like working your core there? How do you warm up? How do you do this thing? Because I want to do it. Let's do it.
Yeah, it totally is. You know, a lot of people who are into yoga are also people who like belly dance because it's very grounded. So any of these sort of folklore-based dances around the Mediterranean region, North Africa to Turkey, and even into Central Asia, you know, they're very grounded. European style ballet is very elevated, right? So you're using kind of different groups of muscles, right? So in the beginning, you saw, or I did behind the veil, I had to get into it in a kind of fancy way, but I did some of these little belly rolls.
Yeah, that.
Yeah, so you're really working all of the muscles in the belly to create these rolls. And so you are getting kind of a workout, but it's sneaky because there's not actually a lot of big movements. There's some adapted, like an adapted arabesque from ballet for, you know, Egyptian cinema in the 1930s. But at its core, it's very static. It's very, you're in place and you're moving all kinds of interior.
Okay, but my interior doesn't move like that.
You gotta practice.
Even I don't know if it's a dislocation from the body part to the brain, but when you was doing that, I was ad-libbing. Okay. All right. So how long have you been not just belly dancing, but interested in the craft of it? Because it becomes a conditioning of the body as well, correct?
Yeah, it does. It really does. I think I've been dancing ever since college, which was a long time ago, but really kind of performing for public and getting to know the history and more like interest in anatomy and all that is more recent, like in the last 5 years since I moved to Connecticut, really.
And this will be my last question, unless you want to speak more about it. And I'm going to ask everyone that presents tonight or performs tonight, what's next for you? How are you weathering or getting through the COVID era to continue to express your creativity and your dance? What is that like for you now?
You know, COVID opened up a tremendous opportunity for learning. I teach privates right now online, and I'm trying to get back into the, you know, regular classes online. But, you know, in the meantime, I've taken, because it just opened up the world, literally. I just attended this event called Best in the World, where this guy from LA called Big Daddy Shin organized 72 dancers from around the globe, literally around the globe, some of like the most amazing dancers. And you can just take all these classes from all these amazing people of dancers I admire, but, you know, before COVID, you know, unless they traveled to New York or Boston or something for a dance festival, you would never get to study with them. So I spent a lot of COVID, to be honest, taking classes, and I'm actually taking a class right now after this with one of my favorite dancers in New York. So yeah.
Listen, I see your weather in the storm, so to speak. And we want to right away thank you for opening my eyes and the viewers' eyes, and this recorded to another form of creativity. You know, I am blessed to be sitting before you, and I've never seen this before. You're my very first person, the person I've ever met that belly dance. I mean, I've met people that belly dance, but professionally belly dance, I am honored to have met you. And last but not least, how can we follow you? What's next for you? And at the end of this, what is that MLK? Like, let's loop it back around. We talked about all these things that I see relevance from what Dr. Martin Luther King talked about, and your dance to freedom. I see that right away. It's like freedom, right? So in your words, like, let's just, talk about the, what's next for you? Where can we find you, and what's next for you?
What's next is I'm working on getting up and running my normal dance classes. I'm still teaching privates, but my normal dance classes, I'm working on that, and I need to learn how to do video editing because, everyone's online now. So I have to kind of ramp up my video skills, because pretty much now all we can do is take videos of ourselves dancing. So, and get that out on, our Instagram and Facebook and YouTube and all that. So yeah, does that answer your question? I'm out there, I'm working on more choreos.
And I want to once again thank you for your submission. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your creativity. And I hope you don't mind that I add you to my artist friend list.
Oh, please.
Is that okay with you?
I'm honored to be your friend.
Then it's done. All right, guys.
Thank you.
All right, let's hear it up again for Laska. Yes. We'll see you next time. Wow. What an experience that was. I see a lot of people in the chat here. You guys go chat, talk to us, send questions, things you want me to ask the artists here. I'll be happy to ask. But we're gonna move on. This is so much fun. So much fun. You guys ready? Because I'm ready. Stephanie back here. Steph, I just need a thumbs up if we're ready to go.
We're ready to go. Next up.
Ready to go. I was stuck in, open mic land. I want to call it that. All right. What I was doing was reminding people that if you have questions that you might want to ask about the relevance and the art and the creativity of any artist here, feel free to put it in the chat. We're monitoring that, and we'll ask those questions for you. Right? But the next artist, and I don't want to show no favorites, I promise you I don't. But this guy has been around since I've been around. He has only grown as an artist and as a man. I have to say that. His music is captivating. You hear his voice, and you want to know where it's coming from. And I've always been a strong fan, a true fan of this gentleman. And I'm probably like, I want to hurry and cut my video off so I don't drop no tears, because he's grown into someone I'm so proud to be connected with. Having said that, you guys may know him. I know him well. I knew him when he was with Unique and doing some other projects, but he's still singing and doing things in a big way, humongous way. I'm not going to say much because I want him to tell you all about himself, because he's doing some extraordinary extraordinary things. He has some music out there. But before we hear from him, we want to hear from his song. So Ralfy, cue it up. Give you a second and cue it up. Back in my open mic days, cue it up. And we're gonna hear
everybody?
We're gonna hear the song first, and then we're gonna speak to the man himself. Sing to us.
Very cool. I will. Hi, everybody. I'm gonna sing to y'all. As Adrian mentioned, I'm Ralfy Rodriguez. I'm gonna sing to y'all first, and then we'll get into all that other good stuff, okay? All right, hopefully y'all are rocking with me. Actually, let me adjust my camera because I can see myself. Make sure I look extra great for you guys.
Handsome self you are.
All right, guys, so my song, Always on My Mind. Live Zoom. As we lay here, girl, I'm wishing that it's you I end up kissing for the rest of my life. As I'm holding you closely, you're the only one that knows me. I'm so glad you're mine. When I'm with you, my heart's so yours, and I'm forever yours until the end of time. And there's no kind of force that can take us off this course, and through it all you shine. Hey. My love, you're always on my mind, my mind. My love, you're always on my mind. My love, you're always on my mind. My love, you're always on my mind. As we lie here holding hands, I know I'm a lucky man. And truth be told, I never thought I'd be the type to want to live a married life, have kids and grow old. But here we are, baby, this feeling is crazy, right down to my soul. Like a piece of my heart was missing a part, and you made it whole. My love, you're always on my mind, my mind. My love, you're always on my mind. My love, you're always on my mind. My love, you're always on my mind. I fell for you like fresh rain from the clouds. Some help from gravity, I came crashing down. At first I tried to fight it, tried to tell myself no, but when I felt your love, I could never slow. And I'll always hold you close, especially when you need me the most. I'll never pretend to be someone I'm not. I promise you that even when my casket drops, I'll love you. My love, you're always on my mind. Yeah. My love, you're always on my mind. Yes. My love, you're always on my mind. Yeah. Oh, on my mind. And yeah, I'm done.
My little girl.
Oh, I don't know what that is, but.
Wow. Really? So everybody just breathe for a minute, right? Because if you guys don't feel it, I feel for a minute you have to digest the music and the sound, and then you got to look at this handsome face, right? You certainly do, right? But Ralfy, explain to everyone who's watching, like, why that was one of the songs, because you've rewritten many songs, And I know you got a catalog, my friend. I know you do. But why this song submitted through this theme?
I mean, for me, it was pretty easy. I mean, the theme was love, and that was one of my newest love songs that I've written. Actually, I wrote it right in the middle of the pandemic in May. So when everything like started writing it maybe like in April-ish and released it in about May. And it was, you know, it was hard to write a love song in the middle of all this craziness, but I figured, hey, why not submit my newest love song for a theme having to do with love?
Right. I mean, I knew that. Right. Right. So just like Laska and the other artists, I gotta, have a question or two.
Yeah.
Right. Well, inspirations. Who's inspired you? Like whose path are you hoping to take, or is there multiple paths? Who's inspired you?
I mean, there's no particular path that, at this point I really want to take following in anyone's footsteps, mainly because right now in the uncertainty of live events and things like that, right now us artists, we're kind of paving the way for a new norm, which is, things like this, a lot of virtual things and socially distanced things and stuff like that. So right now there's really no path to follow. But as for my inspirations and things like that, I mean, you name it, down the decades on up, I have so many inspirations. I remember many moons ago when I performed for you during a very super fun event back at Trinity on Main, where we did different decades, a lot of us, and I was the youngest guy there singing the oldest decade. And I sang some Sam Cooke, so that's easily one of my inspirations. I love Sam Cooke. It's a sad story, but what an amazing vocalist. So, from Sam Cooke on up to today's, the top people, amazing people like Bruno Mars, what he can do musically and how he puts together his songs, just so inspiring. Things that I wish I could do on my own that some of these people can just do so easily. It's just inspiring.
Well, you already know I'm a super fan. You already know I am.
You.
So,
Thank you.
and and last I want to ask is like, and I'm not a stalker, but I've been watching, right? and I know that
I can see you guys in the chat, by the way. Thank you.
Right. So I want to know what Ralfy's doing to keep his creativity alive, to collaborate and do all these other things in addition to being a working man during the pandemic times. What's that like for you?
I mean, it's rough. I mean, what you don't see behind my camera, I have one workstation literally is right behind my camera is my workstation for work now, because now working from home in a pandemic. And then I have my recording station to the right of me. So I have a nice big shaped desk because right now that's what's going on. And creatively, being at home honestly has been one of it's a gift and a curse. I've been able to create some of my favorite songs that I've done right here at home. So, I'm cool with this. If you ask
cool
me.
with this?
Yeah.
Wow.
Don't get me wrong. I miss people, but I like home.
Right, and I'm happy to hear that you haven't skipped a beat. You understand that it's just a curve in the road.
Yeah.
That things have to continue to go on. And having said that, I want to invite pop-up time. Pop-up, right? I wish I had like a whole thing, but can't have much here in the gallery. Pop-up, right? So as I was asked to, or as I was honored to be a part of this, I couldn't not be a part of this without bringing some of my family, right? And I'm happy that you're on the other side of it, so I didn't have to invite you. I saw that. Invite you.
Oh no, you're supposed to.
Right.
This is nothing. Don't worry.
So this is how we do it, family. This is like a family cookout. But I want to invite one of the hosts from the open mic here in New Britain, from which you were my very first host, dude.
Many moons ago.
4 years ago, you should have told me. It was you that told me or inspired me that month wasn't the end of this. And here we are 4 years later. The relationship, the friendship is as strong as it can possibly be. But we're growing into such branches almost, right?
Yeah.
So I want to bring another branch in. You're gonna know her. You're gonna know her. You work with her. She's amazing. So Aleecya, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Wow. Hey, family. How's it going?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
I am doing well. I appreciate you taking the invitation to do a pop-up at this celebration. I got bars, huh?
Yeah, man.
Right.
So I invited you not just for your presentation and seeing your beautiful face, but to engage in song.
Mhm.
So you have a song for us that fits, or you can tell us how it relates to our theme at Martin Luther King?
I do have a song for y'all. It is called Toxic in Me. And it is more so about finding out all of the things that are about yourself when you're with somebody, and maybe for that moment you shouldn't be with them, and that you really need to work on yourself and learn how to love yourself. Because how you gonna love yourself? How can't you love yourself, and then love somebody else also? You can't do both.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Same to us, Queen.
All right. Turn it up. See, I don't wanna fuss or fight no more. Wanna make us feel better. Wanna be the one you run to when things ain't your way. Wanna be a favorite shoulder. Be the one you tell your secrets to. Wanted us to grow older, but that ain't the way. All these toxic in me. I know that I should leave, but I really wanna stay. Hey, all these toxic in me. I know that I should leave, but I really wanna stay. Never imagined in the world that this be happening to me. Lying on my bed talking about reciprocity. Tracks around my pillow cause I cry myself to sleep. Whoa, oh, oh. And all I ever asked for was reciprocation. And all I ever gotten was a bad vacation. Push and pull with you, I know I got my faults. Drama never ending cause you need control over me. Always judging me. Cycle never ending saying that I'm gonna leave. But I never do. Always shooting you. Now I'm sick of drowning in my insecurities. Yeah, but all this toxic in me. I know that I should leave, but I really wanna stay. All these toxic in me. I know that I should leave, but I really wanna stay. All these toxic in me. I know that I should leave, but I really wanna stay. Cause I don't wanna cry no more. Live my life alive no more. I don't wanna cry no more. Why can't I be free? I don't wanna cry no more. Live my life alive no more. I don't wanna cry no more. Why can't I be free? I don't wanna cry. I don't wanna cry no more. Cry. Live my life alive no more. I don't wanna cry no more. Why can't I be free? 'Cause all this toxic in me, I know that I should leave, but I really wanna stay. All this toxic in me, I know that I should leave, but I really wanna stay. And that song is called Toxic in Me.
Wow. I didn't give much of a bio. Let's just give us a few lines of who you are and what have you done in the music world. Because I can brag, but I'd rather you tell people who you are.
Well, my name is Aleecya Foreman. I am a singer, songwriter, and I've been performing for a minute now. I have my own band. I graduated 2 years ago with a music degree, you know, educated out here. And from there, and even in school, I've just been working on really getting myself out there. I got my own band. I've been in the studio recording, doing collabs with other people. I've opened up for some major artists and some major underground artists too, and tend to be very versatile in what I do. Also, I do jazz, I do rock and roll, I do as you can see, R&B, neo soul, just to name a few. And you know, I'm really just working hard, getting ready to drop my album and stuff like that. Thank you guys for the nice compliments, by the way. And you know, I'm just out here. I've done a lot of work with other artists. I teach music, vocal lessons to be exact. I teach vocal lessons. And then I also have like other things that I have a passion for. So like skincare, I do have my own skincare line and my own jewelry line. And, you know, I'm working, I'm trying to get it, you know.
You know what? Well, I thought about this, and I don't want to seem like a teeny bopper around here, but you getting them bags, right? You're making it happen, and I appreciate all your hustle. But let's round this all back into why we're celebrating this week, right? And if you can just well, before we go on to the next artist, how is your music and Ralfy will listen to that, and the R&B sound so important in translating the love vibe, and i.e. MLK's message?
I feel like just music in general is extremely important to relay anybody's message. It's revolutionary, you know. It gets to people, makes people feel things that they may not be able to feel with somebody just preaching it to them all the time, you know. You know how Marvin Gaye's song was around that time. Ralfy mentioned Sam Cooke. You know, a lot of the things that tie into those times, you can't underlook the music. Those different tunes and things like that you can name. It made you feel, it really made you feel what was going on. It told the story of what was going on. You know, we may lose our history books and stuff like that, but somebody is always going to be humming that Sam Cooke song at some show. Right. Somebody's always going to be singing that Marvin Gaye song. The story will always be told. And then just for today's music, it's starting to reflect the times. Certain artists are out there, you know, trying to really, you know, reflect the times that are going on, especially of what happened this past summer. And I do feel like we could definitely do a better job at it as a music community, you know, because there's other things in life, just partying, you know, everybody parties, but, you know, we gotta, you know, make sure that we're able to leave a stamp on this world and actually give a message out there with our crafts.
Absolutely. And that's what I think I know that I appreciate from both you and Ralfy, is that the generations are blurred. Your music hits your soul. You know, his music hits my soul. And
Thank you.
through the words. And I think that it's important, and it ties back to why we're celebrating this week, is that we're beings of excitement. You know, words excite us. Art excites us. It excites us. So, I will say to you guys, we're vessels as well as artists to show a path, right, to those folks that are behind us, those folks in front of us that have passed in front of us, to continue that path of righteousness. No matter what, music, art exists. It has no barriers. It has no color front, and then it has a lot of expression. So while we're doing this, people should listen, and that's why I listen. I have to listen to Ralfy. Ralfy's music, I'm captivated. I'll tell you, and this is from me, and I've been knowing him for years. I can look at him and I'll miss the words, but I have to close my eyes because the words are as relevant as his expression of his song. And you guys must know, right? It's important. That's very important to be as expressive as your lyrics are.
Yes, it's very, very important to be expressive, just to emote what you're saying anyway. There's a lot of people on the stage where they're singing a song and it really seems like they don't know what they're talking about, Yeah. Yeah, I've witnessed that a lot. And I feel like it's very important to really know what you're saying in order for you to tell the story.
Yeah, subject matter is important.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. So I would encourage
I don't know if you needed to see me to say that, but yeah.
I have a picture in my brain forever. But listen, you both put in the chat all your handles, how people can contact you. I will tell everybody that's listening, and this is being recorded, I will tell you my friends are for hire. Come and make you exceptional. So listen to their words, and if you need them at any point, be sure to connect with them because they are exceptional. So Ralfy, put your handles and all that stuff in the chat.
I will.
Aleecya, put yours in the chat.
I'm gonna say hi everyone right now.
We're moving on to the next, but never forgotten. So the one thing I admire most about this presentation is that it's diverse, right? We started with the belly dancer. We went into the soft, captivating sounds of Ralfy, followed by some explanation from Aleecya. Now, we gotta hear from a band, the whole band, right? So Taylor, are you there?
Yes, I am. Hey.
Hey there, mister, how are you?
Very good. I'm totally enjoying the presentation and all the other artists. This is phenomenal. So
man, we're family now. We're family. So that cookout, don't forget to send my invite. I'm there. All right. I'm there.
Let's go. I'm going to bring the appetite too.
Yes. So I want to first thank you for your submission to this presentation. Stephanie did an excellent job of soliciting some very good, talented artists, and the diversity of it. I can't say that enough, because when you, I'm kind of in that realm where I hear artists and people and all that, but to come to a platform from which you've never, belly dancer? Tell her, are you serious? Belly dancer? Did you see that?
Right. That was new for me. It's very cool.
Right. So I appreciate all your submissions and making sure that the folks here get your questions ready. Everybody get your questions ready. The folks here are thoroughly entertained. It's not just this here, but we're going all around here. And I appreciate you and your band for your submission. And I'm gonna have to turn it over to you because you have to introduce him. We're gonna play one of your songs, and you can tell us some of the background behind it and how it infused into the project from which the museum has supported.
Sure. Well, so our band is called the Neighbors. And so I think everybody who's got their camera on is there. And Jared Schmidt, he's our friend, and he's a guest violinist. He played on this track. And we've done other musical projects together. So we're all neighbors of a guy named Kevin. And so we're all musicians. We kind of found each other living in Hartford, in the Hartford area. And we've been playing music for a little while. And so that's kind of, originally we were Kevin's neighbors. And then we became the Neighbors. And, it's a bit of a controversial topic, band names. You don't want to know how many hours we have discussed that. But that's what we got now. We're the Neighbors right now. So
I think it's pretty unique. It's pretty unique. And right away, the assumption is that you guys know one another. I mean, but from the band name, you better know one another.
And we do, yes.
Yes. And the other thing, well, let's play the video of you guys playing together, and then we'll get into some discussion. How about that?
Sure, I like that idea.
He was a runner, a young man on his hometown roads, alone, breathing steady, running past the South Georgia Oaks. He loved his mother. That Sunday morning he told her so. Then through our screens his figure strode into our homes. One
All right. Wow. Let's everybody just take a moment. Because I feel like that's something we need to like digest a little bit, right? Right?
It's a heavy song.
Heavy.
For sure.
And then it's catchy, right? Because I still hear dun, dun, dun. my ears like dun. So and that's usually the footprint of an amazing song. That's just from what I hear. When you can replay it, that catch. Let's first talk about the connection to the project, the theme, to your song. Got us through that. Why did you think this was a good song to submit for the theme?
Well, I mean, just the topic. This is about Ahmaud Arbery, a young man that was killed last year. So, I think that's very much related to Martin Luther King and what he was fighting for, and the struggles that we're still fighting today in the United States.
For not for nothing, and maybe my artist brain, I almost feel like a cadence, like a march. You know what I mean? You're the beat almost has like join us, like dun, 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 and I appreciate that because it makes you think. Are you with them? Are you with it? Are you going? And let's talk to some of the other band members. Who you have with us?
So we got Alex, he's our drummer. We got Robin, bassist. Victor's our keys player. Adam's guitar player. Rebecca's our singer.
Okay.
So I don't know if you guys want to say anything.
Yeah. Hey everybody, this is Victor. Just to pick up when you were just saying, Adrian, the whole like beat to it. I think when we were crafting this song, we wanted to evoke that feeling of sort of like a normal day, just going out for a run and having that like steady pulse, and then having that change, almost like a misstep in the beat of the song.
Right. I got that.
Right. Right. Building that musical tension and how that to convey how wrong everything went on that day, and we wanted to just have that tribute in this song and evoke those motifs.
Yeah, I also spent a bunch of time trying to get the snare to sound like a gunshot, because I wanted to evoke that in the background, just to reiterate that theme, because it's so easy to identify with. You just go out on a run and some lunatics chase you. It's unimaginable. I mean,
it's interesting that people hear this song differently. Like I played it to someone, one of my coworkers, and he heard like a heart beating. That's
Right.
what he got, or like a watch, like a clock ticking. So it impacts people differently. One thing about the background of the song is we were working on a different project originally, and then Taylor presented the idea and the song to us, and it was a nice moment as a band because we all came together and said, this is really important, we need to work on this song.
Right. Well, I can say with a lot of conviction that the emotion radiates. Like whatever that was you guys were trying to create in that moment, I feel it. I'm not sure of the other artists that are tuned in and the viewers, but I think it really has some importance because you went to these different beats, so it kind of invited every ear to be a part of it, if that makes sense.
I think that's great. And I mean, honestly, I get emotional listening to the song every time. To me, it's kind of crazy because we wrote the song. I've heard the song so many times, and yet I still find it meaningful. Like it's something that sort of has a life of its own for me. I don't hear it and say, oh yeah, we wrote that, whatever. You know, it's like a fresh thing every time. So
You
we
know,
appreciate the opportunity to share it.
not for nothing, Taylor, I'd be interested in the progression of it. Put a video together to kind of, you know, evoke some of those emotions that you put in the song. A visual will like be so much, you know, because I'm a visual artist and I can't even fake it. But it's just, if I would love to see where you guys would take it visually, because the lyrics are not just good, but they're following. You can follow them. You want to sing this? I'm trust me, when I leave here, I'm gonna be you know, I'm gonna be like, you know. And I don't know if you other artists on that are listening, I feel the same emotion. What about you guys? Anybody here feeling some of those same emotions?
You're saying for everybody, the artist?
Yeah. What do you get when what do you feel when you hear that song? Is it wrenching?
I think the silence kind of speaks to a lot of what we felt. It's something that is factual, but it takes your breath away, and you still are here, and you are still breathing, and you still have the option to run. So it's reflective in all the things that we need to remember, and also in the things that we need to correct.
Well said, well spoken. And then, you know, you did hit on something. There is a part of that song, Taylor, that kind of speeds you up. You know, it's like you're here, but you gotta make a decision. Boom, boom, boom. And then you go back to this plateau. And I appreciate that, because for me, what it shows is you can rest here, but it requires an action. You gotta still go, and you can rest again, right? And that's the tempo that I feel when I listen to your song. It's like, yeah, you can be here. All right. Well, wait a minute. You gotta react to something and go there, but you can be there again, kind of chilling, as they say, the young people. But it leads to so many interpretations that are relevant. And right now, if we're not just talking about the COVID, we're not just talking about the other social injustice things that are happening. We talking about the things that are in our house, like that troubled kid that you can't get to listen to you. So I appreciate your music. It's kind of blanketing. It kind of, you know, sits on top of you, kind of supports you and lets you know it's going to be all right.
Hey, we like that reaction.
What do you guys think?
It's great to hear those reactions. And you know, your point about the video, you know, we discussed that at great length because the topic is so important. You know, we spent a lot of time on this song. So as Adam said, I had sort of come up with the initial version, but we workshopped this song and the lyrics, and we wanted to make sure that it was really going to be meaningful and that we were going to do justice to the situation. So there's a lot of symbolism in the lyrics, and you know, we did a great deal of thought about this piece.
Right. I think you guys are on a perfect path, and not only, you know, with what you guys are, your closeness, because that's radiating through your music as well. Like, you know, that you're not just strangers, you're neighbors. Damn it. Let me say this. And I think that kind of radiates throughout the sound and what you're producing, because it's organic. It's not like this thing where you had to tell a musician to play this. You guys grew up together. You played on the same playground. You know what hurts and what doesn't. And I think that lends to what we're interpreting when we listen to your sound.
Well, and that's interesting that because this was really hard for us to put together as well because we wrote this during the pandemic. And so this whole year has been totally new for us as a band. Like we have not met in person to play music since the pandemic started. And so we've had to learn in like an entirely new composition process. And so that I think it's been good for us as a band, but it's a lot more steps because before we could just get together and play and work it out in person and say, I don't like what you did, let's go back. Now it's all, what we do is we start with a sort of what we call a backing track, which is just really basic with the chords. And then everyone is playing to that. They record their part, they upload the parts to Google Drive, and then I mix it all together. And then we have a discussion. What do we like? What do we not like? And we do that a few times, and then we get our final product. So it's been a lot for us to learn as well, this whole pandemic thing.
I mean, I want to speak for everyone, but what you're producing is lyrically, it's on point in my perspective, but not just that, the music is heavy in emotion. If you just played the song and left the lyrics, but we will still, I would still have that connection to what you're trying to create. And I appreciate it in the music piece of it without the lyrics.
Yeah, I think
that's great.
It speaks a lot to our musical creative process because we have some folks that are very like lyric heavy, and then some of us are very music trained, music background heavy, and I think it gives a very nice organic feel to us writing songs because we have different balances. We can complement each other that way. So it's good. It's really great to hear you say that, Adrian, about us feeling familiar, it feeling close, and working together with both pieces.
Right.
As Taylor said, we spend a lot of time crafting both the lyrics and musically so that we can create this feeling, this ambiance to give it the right level of seriousness and respect that it deserves.
And shout out to Jared Schmidt, our friend again, because that violin on that track really made it. I mean, it was at a point where we're like, this song's pretty good, but we want to send it over the top. And when he added those violins, I mean, I think that part really is the emotional peak of the song. So thank you, Jared.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you, Taylor.
Absolutely. Now, though you have an amazing cast of people around you, I feel their energy. Tell you you're around a good neighbor. Your neighbors are good. Let's just say that. You can borrow sugar any day from them. And I appreciate you bringing your neighbors to our platform. But let's just speak just a tad bit about you and some of the things that that you're doing. So in the music realm, because I spoke to you guys doing our little rehearsal. I'm one of those people that connect dots, right? And there's no dot that's not going to be connected, whether it's happening now or it happens later. So what has that dot connection been for you?
Oh, wow. Well, I mean, so the whole neighbors thing, I mean, that just is something that played out over time. Like I lived, in a house with that guy that I mentioned, Kevin, and sort of through that, I met everyone else in this band, and someone in the band knew someone else, and we found each other that way. And I actually met Jared at a great place that was in Hartford called Sully's. I don't know if you know Sully's, but they had a great open mic. They closed, was it last year, 2 years ago, unfortunately. But that brought together all kinds of musicians and artists. That was a phenomenal place. So I met Jared there. And we actually also, we met playing in New Britain at the Frosty Mug because a New Britain person, oh my God, I'm totally blanking on his name.
Jason
Lapierre.
Jason
Sorry.
Yeah.
He was running an open mic at the Frosty Mug, sort of like a jazz thing, and we played there together. So those are some dots. And Jared and I had a separate project for a while called the Klezmer Fusion Collective with some other musicians that we had met, I think mostly at open mics. So You know, when people get together and get creative, you know, all kinds of stuff happens.
Right. And I appreciate you saying that. Yeah, we appreciate you. Put in the chat all your handles and all the places we can find you and your group. Everybody's reading. I think it's like 45 people there now. So let's use this platform to further what you're doing. Let's move on. You okay with moving on?
Yes, thank you. Yeah, just check out our page. Let me just put the link to that song. So that song is up on YouTube if you want to listen to it. Here's the lyric video.
Yeah, I just saw it. Yep.
This is our page. You know, we have some other music up there. And you can find us on Facebook too, the Neighbors-Hartford on Facebook. Please get on those pages. Thank you.
So Taylor, don't be surprised if I show up at the family cookout. All right? Just don't be surprised.
You're totally welcome.
There you go. All right, moving on. We got like 2 more people and some more time. So moving on to the next person, the next performer, I want to say. All right, this guy right here is a poet. He's a meaning of poetry. I want to say that he has engulfed or he moves by the words of poetry. You know, I can't say that I'm a poet myself. I've been around some amazing poets. I have an ear, I want to say, for poetry, but this guy has his own uniqueness, right? So we're gonna bring him up. Amin, are you there?
Yes, Adrian, I'm here.
You here? All right, my friend. He's a little bit more bearded than I remember him, but he's still that same guy. Right, we're gonna open up, before we get into questions about him, we want to listen to his poem that relates to the theme of the MLK project we're working on this weekend. Let's have it, friend. Let's hear it.
All right, and before I go into this poem, I just want everybody to know my name is Trae Amin Clayton, and I go by the Poet Amin, and because that's where Amin comes from. That's my birth name, and I also go by Trae Amin. Now, listening to everybody, I want to acknowledge everybody who went before me. You know, the Neighbors, you know, that was a heavy song. I love heaviness. I deal with heaviness. And that was just going in on the, just thinking of Dr. King's dream, right? Imagine like if Dr. King's dream was a reality in 2021, you know, and, you know, because what Dr. King stood for, you know, love and Black people being, you know, want to be treated like humans because we're humans. And so this is a perfect fit. I'm about to read Human Socialization. So I'm assuming like if I had wrote this back in the 60s, you know, or whenever I wrote it, moving forward, like I wrote this poem for the youth. I wrote this poem for the youth, and I had shared it with Stephanie, and that's how I stumbled upon this open mic, because I didn't know nothing about this open mic. And so that's what we're dealing with. I wrote this for the youth. What does it mean to stand on the grounds of man without knowing the divine mind's master plan? For you or any other, because everybody suffers. The consequences revolving around risky businesses, conducted by misters and misses, refusing to take responsibility for what life is, teaching without heeding constructive criticism, knowing we need to do away with this brainwash system by promoting more individualism through the love we give them for world peace and humanism, freeing our souls from these self-made prisons so the youth can radiate bright and colorful, giving us inspiration and info we need to grow, rich in spirit while performing our job duties, building stronger communities, creating a world that welcomes everybody, regardless of age, race, sexual preference, creed, or religion. Our primary purpose should be accomplishing the mission that consists of bettering humanity's mental condition, reaching for the stars even when feeling emotionally scarred, learning it is not what, but who you know that will take us far in life and maybe even higher levels, viewing the entire world as a poor ghetto, declining steady for not being neighborhood friendly. But we need to keep room for our sanity. Coming to self-realization is when progress begins, because the essence of a person's soul manifests from within, as long as it's not suppressed with substances. And this is true for any human, regardless of the color of their skin. Ignorance can pull anyone over the edge of a cliff into the deep end. Is death the only way for us to be free, escaping the world's pain and misery? Working to purify Mother Earth and her family tree? Never asking someone their ethnicity, especially if it defines your purpose for reasoning, remaining standing in position to be self-deceiving, is when we should probably look up the definition of a human being. And that's my poem for this open mic.
Yep, just don't throw the mic at me. Well, how incredible is that, right? I appreciate it. So for the people that's watching and you know and listening, tie in some of the verbiage of your poem to where we're celebrating Martin Luther King.
Well, it's the all of it, man. You know, you gotta, if you look at the whole situation was going on in 2021, Dr. King's vision, I feel like if we took heed, what I'm saying in this poem is taking heed to treating people like human beings. Like, I'm talking about the overall concept. Like, I don't see Dr. King filling out an application and without feeling some kind of way. And they say, are you Hispanic or non-Hispanic? Are you Black, African American? You know, like, I just feel like we gotta just do away with that. Like, and be human. That's what this whole poem is about, right? You know, and I just, you know, I touched on individualism, which is very, very important. I see Dr. King as an open mind. I read his book, I want to say Love and Strength, whatever the book he had written is real, is conscious. He spoke from a metaphysical standpoint as a Christian, but he came from a metaphysical standpoint, which I got a whole different view on King, because a lot of people say, oh, you know, somebody wrote Dr. King's speeches and so forth, but I looked into that. He always had the last say so, but his material, his book, he wrote that book. Those are his words. And, you know, that's where it comes in, love out loud. Like, where's the love? Where's the love? We need love to continue this.
So, and listen, that's a perfect segue, because most people may or may not know that you this continuum, right? It starts with, like, when we're reaching back and educating those folks, those youth, right? We got to educate them. We got to give them our knowledge. So so that this continuum continues to be of relevance, right? And I know I know that's your bottom line. So what platform and what's your intentions on delivering this message, and how can we as listeners, as supporters, support you in this quest?
Well, I've been trying to work with youth for a while now, since I graduated from Springfield College, and the doors are opening up. You know, I just feel that's my calling to be among them. And as far as the way anybody can help me, I don't know, just treat me like a human, see me as a poet. My artwork is on Amazon. I have like the total of 4 books up there. I also got a total of 5 books that are not online, that you can't find anywhere, but I'm working on getting those books on Amazon as well. I'm simple. I'm a simple, old-fashioned type dude. I don't have any social medias. I feel like whoever gets my book, it's meant, you know, whoever, if you come across my book, I write to deliver, I write for the reader, and I don't even do this for money. I give my material, I give my books out wherever I go. You know, that's it, you know, just see me as a human, see me as that poet. That's how you can help me. Be neighborhood friendly.
Right. And let me piggyback off of that, and I often remind myself and that with this youth, with the youth, and I've worked with some inner city youth and some different programming. I'm so very proud to work with OIC right here in New Britain, but on North Street, trying to encourage some inner city youth there. But the one thing I realized that, and I'm wondering how you feel about this, is that there is no application for leadership. You know, the kids are looking at you, following you, watching your moves, but there is no metric to what they're doing. So I ask you, because I ask myself certainly sometimes, is like, what do you do to continue to be in that model footstep of those guys, those youngsters, you know, that we absolutely need to continue the growth of our nation and as a people?
Well, that's a good question. I stay focused. I stay focused on living just for today. I stay connected with the source of creation regularly. I got positive people. I have a whole circle of positive people that energize me to continue walking with my head up. And I just stayed like I keep my focus on the primary purpose regardless. No matter how much hate or anger or confusions in the world, I see light. I'm surrounded by light. You know, I dance in light, and I stay happy no matter what. Even when I'm depressed, I hold on to that light, and I truly believe if I can just spread that, if I can get, open the door for anybody to enter my world or their own world or their own light, that there's a connection, and the light just get brighter, and we stay focused like that. For love, with the love.
And I appreciate, I appreciate all the radiation. I'm certain that I speak for most of the people, especially on the advisory board, that your work and your footprint is not going unnoticed. We are, I've been, for myself, you and I have been knowing one another for a good 10 years or so now. And I'm so proud of your growth. I'm so proud to hear that your name is still in the mix. Some people get out the mix. Sometimes, 5 years in, you're like, I'm going to change the world. And 5 years later, you ain't even in the steering part. So I appreciate that you've stayed locked and loaded. And just like myself, between us, and as we gravitate to other people, the change will come. Change will come. And these youngsters will see that there's other avenues. And I appreciate you introducing all those things in your poetry, in your presence. I mean, you go on the streets, you do all that. So stay alert, keep doing your thing. And I promise you, it's not going unnoticed. I love you. And let's go on to the next person. All right, who's next? No, wait a minute. I hear the doorbell ringing. Wait. I think one of my open mic hosts are coming to the, wait, this is my fake acting. But I have one of the open mic, your sound is a little crappy. T'Challa, your sound is a little crappy. Let me do a formal introduction while you fix your T'Challa, fix it. But I mean, I thought it was appropriate that I brought in one of my evolution, revolution, delusion, open mic hosts that I've worked with over the years. She's amazing. She has a poem for us. As soon as she gets her sound together, she's gonna recite that poem. But let's listen to what she has to say.
Hey, 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 hey. What's going on, y'all? It's your girl, Tishala. How you doing?
I am well. Good to have you here, family. I appreciate you popping and give us a little bit of your MLK celebration.
Yes, yes, yes. I'm happy to be a part of it always. You know me. I'll always show up for you if you ask. Definitely for the art. Always doing it for the love of the art.
What you got for us?
I have a poem that I wrote. It's called I Give You Joy. I actually wrote this poem because sometimes social media can be very daunting and kind of a lot of everyone's venting, and now you feel like you're taking in everybody's negative energy. And so I was just like, what can I give in light of all this pain that we're feeling? So I wrote this poem and it's called I Give You Joy. I give you blossoming flowers, budding trees like towers, grassy fields and farms that yield bountiful harvests. I give you rainbows and sunrise after sunrise after. Early morning open eyes should be a surprise, catalyst for gratitude. Sometimes we so automatic that we miss the gifts of the day. So while media preach propaganda and capitalism enforces greed, integrity finds new light and community supplies needs. I am here to give you joy. I give you smiles of mothers in delivery rooms after new life breaches her womb. I give you dancing elderly couples and toddlers so sweet innocence moves them to kiss a crying cheek. No matter the age, a baby can soothe your pain and remind you with gift of Cheerio that it's gonna be okay, you know? I give you love unspeakable, happy unbreachable. I give you belly thundering laughter. I give you my arms for when your back is too heavy. I'll carry you when you can't walk. I'll speak when you don't want to talk. I'll show up whether you ask me to or not. Treat you like the most precious thing I've got because you are precious and valued and valuable. I see you and I send you smiles and giggles and waves across rooms that release anxiety. I give you peace. I give you joy. I give you love, God.
Wow. Wait, everybody, follow me, everybody. That's what we do. Wow. Between the calm of Amin's poem and the rise, which was the expectation why you were invited. I don't know about everybody else, but I'm a consumer of poetry, but I gotta get it. I gotta get it in my inside. I gotta hear it. I gotta close my eyes. If you listen to this first poem by Amin, and then listen to the range in there, with questions, there's some ranges in there, right? And then I want to also piggyback on Miss Amanda Gorman. I had the distinct privilege, U.S. citizen, to hear 14-year-old recite a poem for the inauguration. If you haven't heard it, stop now, freeze, 3-4 minutes, go listen to it. But what that did for me is better understand the gravity of poetry. That it has a voice, man. It has a different voice than music. It has a different voice than anything else, but it has a listening voice. And when I heard her poem, I thought about tonight and talking with Amin and yourself and getting some your opinions on the direction of spoken word. It ain't poetry. What? It's got a whole category now. And it's expressive. And it's in front of our televisions now. So both you guys, and I'm hoping Amit is still here, take your time and kind of address the progression of poetry.
Well, I've always believed that it's up to the artist to keep folks honest. Whether it is visual or through dance or through music or through spoken word, it's up to us to put the realities of life in people's face and make them face it. So when we start to talk about spoken word and spoken truth and your voice and telling your story, as others have mentioned this evening, when we talk about that and we combine that with spoken word, we must understand that there's power in our voice and power in our truth, and no one can speak our narrative better than us. So our voice is now a requirement because people need it like they need vegetables and vitamins and minerals and water for their body. So when they hear it, it feels like you're getting an injection of life because you've been hearing a lot of bull crap. And it's very important for you to hear truth. And it's very important for us to be authentic. And when entertainment is not being authentic, then the very thing that brings it back to its knees is the voice of poetry, because we don't care about your feelings. We don't care about this money. We need to tell you the truth. And that's what we do. So honey, it ain't going nowhere but up.
Listen, I mean, what do you have to say about that? I mean, what do you?
Yes, I agree with the poet totally. If it's not spoken from the soul, if it ain't coming from the depths of the soul, then it's not. I don't know where it's coming from. But poetry is of the soul, and poetry speaks the voice. We channel the voice of others from within, and I just love what she said. I agree totally. It's the truth. Poetry is truth. That's what poetry is, and it can't be denied, and it can't be shut out. It's been there from the very, very beginning. Let it be light, let it be dark, and it before that. So, yes, that's the. Hey, Adrian, I want to say something though about the New Britain Museum before we
go right ahead.
Just want to say I definitely appreciate New Britain Museum being the source behind this, because that was my stomping grounds for 5 years, and it advanced my art visualization. That's about my poetry is inspired from beauty and just visualization. And I even turned my apartment into a gallery since I was at the museum. And I just I just want to let y'all know that I wrote 3 manuscripts in the New Britain Museum, Visualizing Art 2, Night of the Sun, and Resuscitation of the Soul. And you can find this on Amazon too, Trae Brooks, and the other 2 ain't out yet, but they coming.
We appreciate you, Tarek. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Listen. And one important, I appreciate you, man, not for nothing. Both of you guys' poems were exceptional, you know, and I don't know if people, I like to sometimes sit still after a poet recites. Sometimes, I don't know, I mean, I may be cut from a different cloth, but I need to sit still for a minute and digest, you know. So even sitting still, because I heard your poem before I heard Charlotte's poem, but the relevance are stitched You know what I'm saying? You had no idea you were going to be on the same platform, but the relevance are really intertwined. And I believe that's what poetry does. Poetry intertwines it. It added relevance when there is none. If it adds voice when there was silence. You know, so I think there's maybe you guys can. We're gonna wind this up. I got one more person to go through, and I said I wouldn't go past 8 o'clock. It's already past 8 because I'm having so much fun. Anyway, like what right now, and then both of you guys take your time answering this question. What does poetry, pandemic, COVID-19 look like? Because I do organizing. I want to bring spotlights to people. But I'm wondering, from my perspective, I see how the challenges I'm having. I'm wondering about some of the challenges and some of the forecasts. What are you thinking, spoken word, COVID right now? What's the forecast for you guys?
I'd like to let the lady answer that.
All right. The forecast is change. The forecast is evolution. It's unfortunate because the one thing that I miss the most is the energy of the room. That's something that cannot be translated through Zoom or virtual anything. That's something you have to be present to experience. Yes, the hugs, just vibing with other poets and just sharing that energy. So that right there is missed. And hopefully there'll be a way for us to be able to get back to that. But I believe that through technology, we're finding ways to continue getting our voices heard and being out there and speaking and making sure that the truth is spoken on every platform and in every little area and town and city and opportunity that that can come up.
Right. I mean, we do.
That's why I wanted the poet to go first. She summed it all up. This is a lady's world, a woman's world, and the New Britain Museum also representing the woman too. But right. I agree totally. And the technology, the aspect for me, COVID-19 has not slowed me down, not even a little bit when it comes to the art. I've been creating with other poets, me and the hard-hitting poets. Statewide, out of the all New London School, all my peoples, they know who they are. They out there, and we stay sending each other poems. We stay reading over the phone, reciting and collaborating. And I just did a collaboration chapbooks on poets on spirituality, which will be out in April. And we already moving on to another project. Like the poetry for me has not slowed down. But like the poet said, I do miss that physical contact. I do miss the hug and the looking in the eye and like feeling their words. Even though for me it's spiritual. Poetry spiritual. So I can feel it in the unseen world too, because it's in the air and and it's always in the mind. So and yeah, the poetry has not stopped for me a little bit. I actually I stay writing. I'm working on projects, y'all. I'm working on like 2 projects right now. Like I stay at it. If all I got is poetry, y'all. That's all I got. If I ain't have nothing, I got poetry and I got books.
That's in the body, right? That's what I breathe. And I absolutely get that from you. If anyone has been in a room with you for any 15, 20 minutes or so, they know that that's your breath. And I appreciate that about you because it's constant. We don't like change. As individuals and humans, we don't like change. You don't change. You're that same guy, a little bit more of this, a little bit more of this, but you're the exact same guy with the exact same visions as when I met you. And I appreciate the consistency. because that shows that you're on a path. You know, you're on this track and it's making turns, right? But you're already, you're settled and you got both feet planted on the track. And I appreciated you for delivering that every time I see you. It's not a time that I'm thinking that you're off track. You're always on track, and I appreciate it for you. But I'm gonna finish it in like 2-3 minutes. I don't know if you had a chance to hear Miss Amanda Gorman's, and I say Miss because she's 22. I'm a mom of a 27-year-old, so I say Miss, like really. But without the political piece of the inauguration, I like to speak to the poets about the not for nothing, the expression. You know, spoken word is taking the whole, a spoken word artist won The Voice. So it has a whole new thing, and it's huge, you know, and I know it because I'm connected to those things, but help the people that's listening to us understand the gravity, like why is the progression moving so steadily and it's moving fast, it's there. Spoken word is art form. If you don't know, you better get to know. So what do you guys take on that? What do you contribute to the speed of or the catch up of spoken word artists?
I'm gonna go first this time. Can I go first this time?
Yes, you may, please, and thank you.
I'm gonna be real.
Both of y'all want to speak at once. Go right ahead. Amin, go ahead. I don't hear you. Unmute. Mute yourself.
Poetry has been taken off. People are just catching up. Like I think Osho said in his creative, his book on creativity, like sometimes it takes a century or many years for somebody to catch up what's going on. But there's a scripture in the Bible that says, it says, follow the path to heaven the way your poet spoke about it, or something like that. It picks up poetry all throughout the Bible, the Book of Psalms, and so on and so forth. And I just think I'm so grateful and glad that a poet represented yesterday. And I didn't get to hear the whole thing, but I heard what I needed to hear, and I'm also going to listen to it later because you can find it online. Somebody sent it to me, and so that's where poetry is, y'all. For poetry is already been there to me. So to me, the answer to your question, Adrian, it's been caught up for me. Like poetry is there. I would love to see more of it in schools. Right here in Hard Hit, New Britain. Like I wish we had more talent shows from elementary school to middle school to the high schools. All throughout the state, it should be poetry. Open mics and all that.
Of course you feel that way. Of course you feel that way. I'm sure Chinchilla feels that way. How you feel?
I was just sitting here thinking, and all I could come up with is poetry is the thread that will close the tears of society.
Done. What else happens? Done.
We sew it up. So hopefully, people will keep sewing with the proper thread and closing up these tears.
I couldn't have put it no better myself. We had a chatted that, and I could have responded and said it myself. But what I'm experiencing, and it's in my lifetime, and I want you guys to understand that things are happening in our lifetime. That spoken word is becoming meaningful words. Like people are listening. At first, for me, it was just a segment, but no, now there's a platform from which you have to pay attention. You have to pay attention. And so while I am admired by Amanda Gorman's 22-year-old feat, I want to say that you guys also inspire me. You inspire me, because without you guys introducing me to this other entity, it would have been hard to listen and get what young Amanda was saying. I am blessed to be in a position where I get the understanding of poetry from you professions, your artistry. I listen to you. So if others are viewing it like I am, then it's an honor, right? To finally hear someone of your genre, right? To speak before a nation. I'm proud for you. Listen, my heart is, because I know poets, I know people that are that express through poetry, but to have a representative in national platform, how's that feel?
Beautiful.
Feels great.
Right. The sky's the limit now, right? There's nothing that we as artists cannot accomplish if we allow ourselves to do what we need to do, and then time to do the rest. Put your foot in it, and time will certainly reveal itself. So my spoken word artist right now, I appreciate you guys. Much homage to what you do. Continue to be as creative as you possibly can. You will never get rid of me. I have numbers, I have phone numbers, but I want you to know that I am on the team. I am on your team. I am on your team. I am a cheerleader. I appreciate the museum giving me an opportunity to highlight some of the people I already know. So you guys keep going, keep chucking away, because there's some people like myself that are watching your footprints and your footsteps. So keep doing what you're doing. Keep being inspired. And I can't wait to see you guys.
I just wanted to add one thing. I'm a part of the Greater Hartford Arts Council, and for the musicians that are on, today they opened up a musician relief grant. So if you go to letsgoarts.org/musician relief, if you are a musician, please go fill out the application. It opened today. It's an opportunity strictly for musicians in light of COVID and the fact that you can't perform like you normally would or have gigs like you normally would. They are providing this grant specifically for musicians. So if you go to letsgoarts.org/musician relief, please go fill out the application. Yes, I will. I'll put the link in the chat.
All right, moving on. Last but not least, and I'm sorry I'm running over time because sometimes I get winded with all my artist friends around me. I feel like I'm in a family reunion. All right, Trae, you there? Trae?
Yes, I can be here.
Trae's there. So we moved on to the last of our submissions for the New Britain Museum for this project. Trae, who I am so proud to have finally put a face to the name, an extraordinary artist. He has a 5-series paint. He has a 5-paint series that he's going to walk us through. Trae, take us through your journey.
Sure. And real quick, I just want to say before I start talking about my work, I just want to give big thanks to everyone participating today. Y'all are just great, amazingly talented. And I also want to give thanks to New Britain Art Museum too for what they're doing, the MLK celebration open mic tonight and also this week. And I also want to give thanks to my ancestors, my family, just all the people before me. I feel like it's kind of important to give thanks first. So yeah, so for my work, I'm a painter. So and I do a series of paintings where, or at least like my work is primarily focused on family, like my family, and just me just sort of expressing my appreciation, just like really just like my love for my family and just where I came from and just my roots and just just things of that nature. So I think just to kind of briefly walk through some of the works, like this piece was like a dedication to my mom. Like that's, just like her. And then also, I also work with a lot of different materials too, in more of a symbolic way where I kind of use materials such as like shirts, blankets, and just any other materials that sort of represent like that sort of family history and just sort of evoke like those feelings and those emotions of people in my life that I hold dear, and also just people that have passed that I feel like they're always with me no matter what. So like this piece is kind of representative of that. Like I said, it's just my mom and just also just like a blanket that kind of, just kind of like that familial just warmth or like that motherly warmth that you get. And then, just you can kind of just like cycle through the works if you want, just to kind of. And then this is one of my cousin, and her daughter, just kind of just kind of using like materials like shirts, just different fabrics to kind of piece together like a quilt, and then also just kind of creating just sort of their image and just just kind of making this piece and just sort of really just like capturing the feeling. I feel like uh, that's more like my, I guess, intent when it comes to my art, where it's just I'm very much interested in capturing like the feeling and just how I relate to the person versus like trying to represent them accurately, so to speak. So yeah, just moving forward. And then, just like, and also using like mirrors and imagery, uh, as well as like photographs, like old photographs of like family members that I don't know, and just having that be like a reflection of just, just a reflection of who I am, again, where I came from. And even though like there's some family members that I don't like know or never met, it's like there's still like that sense of just sort of like that ancestry, or just like that idea that just like they're, like that lineage like always follows with you, and it's just they're always with you no matter what, even if you've never experienced them in your lifetime. And then just moving on. Yeah, and then and this is also like a perfect example of just like my grandmother, who was like someone extremely special to me, and someone who raised me alongside my mother, and just just having like these certain items like her rosary or her cross, or like her push or needle push, that little needle push that she puts her sewing needles in, just like that little frame, just like these little reminders of just that just she's always with me no matter what, and just these little things that I kind of hold on to, and just just every time I look at it, like I'm just always reminded of that fact that that she's here. It's like, just as the title says, like she's always with me no matter what. And then I think moving on, I think like the last piece, yeah, and then the last piece is a self-portrait where it's just this one's more just love for myself and just love for just my body, and just not being ashamed of just how my body is, just like I'm very much of the sort of mindset that like your body is a temple, and just like how you treat it both physically and also just how you sort of look in the mirror as well, just like how you just affirmations of how you view yourself, and just like your most vulnerable sort of state, just being bare. And then also just having the cloth there too, just as, again, just kind of showing that warmth, or like giving myself that sort of warmth that, you are you're a beautiful person no matter what. So yeah, just to kind of walk it through.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm sorry if I kind of speed ran through that a little bit, just kind of making sure I got my thoughts together.
It's your page, and I'm just saying, wow. That's usually my first reaction, because being an artist myself, the wow factor is to the 3D, to the exporting of materials, like like my thing is like, when do those things hit your creativity? When you think that you need to like not paint a scarf, but apply a scarf or apply, when does that transition, what is that decision making like?
I think a lot of it is just I get very, it's kind of funny. I like to say that I get very bored with like doing kind of the same thing over and over. So I very much like to experiment and just kind of play around with different things and different materials. So I think, and also just like influence from like other contemporaries, like Faith Ringgold, who's a famous like quilter, fiber artist, and just like other artists who work with like fabrics, like Eric Mack, and just people like them who kind of just like use material, but I like to kind of sort of take that and just kind of apply it to my own subject matter, and just how I kind of relate to these things and how they also kind of relate to like my personal history as well. But yeah, I think I'm very much like the mad scientist. I just like to experiment and just like kind of play around with different stuff.
Well, Trae, you just described most artists, right?
Right. Yeah. It's just like, that's how we all are. We're just
I can speak for the panel, in that we all at some point feel like mad scientists,
Yeah.
And then 3:30 in the morning, we're trying to figure out what are we doing up, So yeah. I totally get that. But okay, who are some of your inspirations? Like, who's doing art the way you're doing it, and what led you to?
Yeah, I think I take a lot of inspiration from the Expressionists and sort of that movement, where my work is the way I work is very intuitive, where it's like I'll have a very basic idea in mind and I'll sketch it out, but I very much allow the piece to kind of take on a life of its own, like as I'm working on it, where it's like I try not to fight the process so much and just kind of let things happen.
Okay, is there any questions you guys want me to ask Trae? Because I can go on. I'm totally I'm totally engulfed in his work and in this process. So if you guys have something in the chat you want to ask, or if there's an artist here, raise your hand a little bit and we'll get your question out. But wait a minute, I hear a doorbell. Ding ding. I think it's another host from Open Mic. Wait, I think it's, who's that? I think it's Jordan Jones. Jordan, are you there? They make you look real good. Jordan, are you there? Unmute yourself. While Jordan's trying to figure out technology, which is pretty strange, probably in the bathroom if I had to guess. But I wanted to first invite you in front of how many people here? 30 some odd people, to display at the window gallery here at Gallery 66. I'm hoping that you accept the invitation and we can open with these presentations and next month.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'd definitely be down for that. That's not even a question.
So like most people, I'm thinking, while we're looking at images of your artwork, I would really like to see it up front, like here. So I will say with certainty, because we just contracted it, the artist contract. Well, yeah, I'm gonna do it. Yeah, let's do it. You guys can more than likely look forward to seeing Trae's artwork here at Gallery 66 at 66 West Main Street in New Britain. And we're gonna look to have it up for February through Black History Month. So let's talk about it now. So the materials are all there. So we talk about two-dimensional work. at this point.
Yep.
Are there any other mediums that you infuse in there besides the cloth and the paint?
I'm definitely, it's funny you bring that up because I think the work now, or the work that I'm doing right now, I've fully kind of transitioned to 3-dimensional where I'm making a lot more sculptures. So right now that's kind of like my main focus right now, where it's just I'm doing a lot of, like I just recently learned how to weld. So like I'm doing a lot of like metal work and stuff like that. So yeah, expect metal figures like in the near future because I'm I'm getting them done. But the goal is also to kind of reincorporate painting back into that too.
Right. So mixed medium.
Yeah. So
And
I'm very much doing the
that's the way
kind
to
of transition from painting to like mixed media. Yeah.
Right. And we need those minds in the place. I often talk to my friend Craig Frederick. Right. You may know him. He teaches at the CCSU, and he has multiple sculptures here in New Britain. And what I find most fun about his work is that he never stops.
Yeah.
He's like, he's chiseling,
Yeah.
you know, he's breaking wood and sawing wood or whatever.
That's how it should be though. Like the work should never just stop. Like I don't think it ever just stops. You just keep going, you know?
Right.
You know, like, it'd be weird if you just stopped all of a sudden to me. I don't know.
Right. Or you know, it's not like writers. You don't have a writer's block, right? It's just that the work takes different dips when you're not in that most creative spot. It's not like it never goes away. And I feel like you tell me this. So I feel like the creativity spurts in all atmospheres or all parts of life, right? Job, family. How do you feel about that? Do you see spurts of your creativity in other aspects besides the known, the given?
Yeah, I could definitely see that where it's just like sometimes like but it's kind of funny. I feel like for me, like I guess like inspiration, I think is what you're kind of getting at, where it's just I feel like inspiration kind of it constantly fuels itself. It's not something that I actively look for. I think through the process of just constantly creating and just making it kind of like I continuously generate ideas. So I just think, and that's what I mean when I say like the work doesn't stop, because if you stop, like, you know, if you stop for too long, it's just you don't get anything, you know?
Right.
It's like a constant machine.
Keep eating your cornflakes and drinking lots of milk. We need you around.
Yeah.
Need you around.
Hey,
Hey,
no,
George,
I'm getting my rest in, but you know, the wicked never rest either. So it's just like it's a constant back and forth.
I'm excited to have you here in the gallery. You might see nothing's around me. In a couple of weeks, Trae will be here and we'll talk a little bit more about that. But I want to bring in another open mic host. We spent 4 years doing this open mic, and the diverse of hosts exists then as it does now in this platform. And Jordan, JJ, the artist, I find it hard to see that sometimes, like his nickname, has been a ride or die, for lack of a better word. He's been there. We've worked on several projects together. He's displayed his artwork here, but it was one particular piece that I thought was relevant for this particular week and the celebration of MLK and his birthday and all. So Jordan, let's talk about that piece. And Stephanie, if you can post it.
First off, what's up, Adrian? Hello, everybody that's out there. Thank you for tuning in. Thanks, Adrian, for inviting me. She hit me up yesterday about this, and Adrian's probably one of the only person in this world that can get me to do something with 1 day notice. Because she just holds me down like that. But I appreciate you for having me on here. It's been a cool little segment. Shout out to all the artists that's been on. You guys
You're
did great
painting right now.
Y'all did great. But yeah, so this is a painting I did maybe 3 years ago. I remember I unveiled it at my third BAM event, which was my yearly event I would do downtown at Trinity on Main in New Britain. But I basically just reimagined Mount Rushmore with some famous Black icons. So you have Martin Luther King, Obama, Muhammad Ali, and Malcolm X. And then you have a young Black man standing and looking at those icons. And basically it was just a play on something that already exists, something that would be great to have as a young Black man, seeing your icons on the mountain or seeing your icons really celebrated nationally, not just for a month or not just for a special event, just as people, they're celebrated like that. So that's kind of where I was going with that. And just seeing that, you could imagine the impact it would have on young minority kids, just being able to see that, okay, their people are really celebrated, really important, not just important for a certain time or a certain occasion.
Right. So Jordan, let me ask a question about this, because first of all, I want to let everybody know the gravitativity of this painting. This painting that Jordan produced is 6 feet. Wait a minute, let me say this again. 6 feet by 6 feet.
Yep.
So a little taller than most of us, average people, and a little longer than most of us. And I remember being at the unveiling of this piece that Jordan had put together. And I remember the overwhelming sense of proud to be a Black person. Mm-hmm. You know, and then having to having this come from an artist that I'm fond of, that I'm friends of. So I thought it was appropriate that we kind of infuse Jordan's piece into this, at the same time welcome Trae's, I want to say innovation, because Trae, you're breaking barriers here, dude. Like, people don't do this. People don't put fabric, you know, on what acrylic. It's just not what we do.
Yeah, it's like a mix of everything, like fabric, acrylic, house paint, just anything I can get my hands on, basically.
So you
anything.
You like the San you like the Fred San.
Yeah, right. Just whatever I can grab, man.
Whatever you got, just bring it over. I'll use it.
Yeah.
But I thought it would be a good stage to bring Jordan in, because not for nothing, you mentioned him, and I've been great friends with Jordan throughout his process for a number of years now, and I understand. I want to think that I understand some of his intentions. In this piece right here, we've hung here at the gallery, and it's gotten rave reviews. We put it at the wall here, you know, people ask questions and all this, but I don't think even Jordan understands the gravitativity of the selection of people that he placed in a platform. What do you think about this?
I mean, when I created it, it was kind of hard to really pick the top 4 Black history icons. Martin Luther King and Malcolm X were, like, of course, they're in there for sure. But then Obama, like, the first Black president, that was big. Like, that's something a lot of people thought they wouldn't see in their lifetime. Like, I wasn't even sure if I would see it in my lifetime. So to actually see it while I'm in college, it was big. It meant a lot. And it made me feel like a lot was changing in America. And then the 4th person, Muhammad Ali, I just felt like he was just such a big icon in America, not just with the sport that he dominated, but in life. Like, he just did so many positive things. He was just such a positive influence for a lot of people in the world, not just Black people, just people. So that's what made me feel like he deserved that spot. But you could have put a lot of other people in there, but those were just the 4 that I chose. That was my interpretation. That's what art's about: expressing yourself, expressing your feelings, your thoughts, and that's what I did. And I did that piece in maybe like 2 weeks because I had to unveil something at BAM, and I didn't have anything for. It was 2 weeks away, and I'm like, damn, I gotta do something. Like, let me think of an idea real quick. And that just immediately came to my mind. I'm like, you know what? Let me do a Black Mount Rushmore. That'll be dope. And I just got to it. Finished it in a couple weeks, and the unveiling was great.
Right. Yeah, I still have to this day pictures in my phone from that unveiling that I feel like are monumental. Listen, Jordan, let us see what you're painting, because everybody wants to see what your brush is stroking.
I mean,
right now.
I would show you guys, but what I'm doing right now, I'm working on a commission painting. So it's for someone, and I can't really let it be seen. But I just kind of wanted to do this Zoom. This is actually my first Zoom call. I downloaded Zoom today just for this event, for you, Adrian, because I love you that much. I was so like set on not even doing any Zoom calls, but I was like, you know what? Adrian wants me to be on this. Let me download Zoom. Let me be on this Zoom call because I felt like it was that important. But yeah, I'm doing a commission painting. This is basically what I do for work. I paint stuff for people. I design stuff for people. I do logos, any type of graphic design, any type of painting, any type of artistic, anything. Paint nights, everything. So
listen, so that's a good segue, and I would like for Trae to chime back in, and this is going to wind up the segment. We're running over time now. Like, what is it? Because I have my own thing that I'm trying to like balance through the COVID, but what is it that's troublesome in balancing through the COVID for a visual artist like yourselves?
I mean, for me, as soon as COVID started, I don't know what it was, maybe all the stimulus checks going out, but my business just took off. Like, people were ordering paintings every other day, asking me for a logo. It got to the point where I just like, I forgot to respond to some people. And I felt blessed to actually be in that position where like I was just getting that many inquiries. And now it's getting a little slow. I mean, people have been out of work for like almost a year. People have been working a lot differently for a long time. So people, well, for me, I'm not getting as many, but I'm still getting messages weekly for someone that wants a painting or a design. And I guess that's just because of how long I've been doing it, the word of mouth, not so much shows. Like usually I'd get all my business from shows. I would sell paintings or sell prints at events. Now I can't do that. I would do paint nights. Now I do maybe one every 2 or 3 months. So things have definitely changed. It's been a lot harder to put my stuff out there, but thankfully I've still been going strong, still been getting the referrals, the inquiries, commissions. So it's been working out for me way better than I thought it would.
All right, Trae, what do you think? What's happening with you? Are you getting commission work, or what's your next move moving forward? I don't know if Trae's here. I was just looking for him. Oh, Trae, there you are.
Maybe it's muted.
I'm muted.
You good?
All right, listen. It is about time to wind this up. I only thought it would take an hour. It's been 1 hour and 47 minutes. I miss you guys. That's what it means. I miss Mike. I miss being in direct communication with faces and people. And I hope that the folks that viewed us tonight understand that everybody here on this platform is for hire. I am not gonna tell you that any one of these guys will do something for free, but they all for hire. Please, hopefully Stephanie will send email addresses and things to the panel, to the folks that's chatted and viewed. I am excited at the same time for our future, because I believe this is it, guys. This is it. You know, thank you, Trae. I appreciate you. I can't wait to display your work here at Gallery 6, and we will talk about it. Thank you. Lex is already gone. She's doing some dance schooling right now. I want to thank Ralfy. Appreciate you, my friend. Keep doing those amazing things. I ain't different, but I'm watching you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Who else is on here? Chinchilla, you are amazing. Keep doing those amazing things. I appreciate you, fam. The open mic will be opening up in March. I appreciate you popping.
Love you.
Love you so much more. Who else is here? Let's see. Okay, I'm gonna tell all the band members I love them too, but I don't really know them. Victor, distinguished guy you are. I like that voice. It sounds good to the ear, man. Let's not be strangers. In fact, you guys are part of my artist family. So hopefully you guys can come right here in the gallery, set up your band, and we can do some interview session. I would love it.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here.
And anyone else I'm missing? Stephanie. We did it.
Hello, we did it. Yes.
We did it.
I guess on behalf of the NBMAA and the Community Advisory Group, I just want to say thank you to all our performers. You guys put on a phenomenal show, and I think we're all really blessed that we were able to be viewers tonight in such a beautiful exchange of art, stories, and love. And thank you, of course, to the amazing Adrian Elliott for hosting tonight. I can't think of anyone better to have done that. And I guess I just want to say, going back to Dr. King, this whole week that we're putting on is in commemoration of him. And I hope you guys will join us in our last virtual event this week. It's closing out our Power of Love celebration. We will be having a Reflect and Rejoice hour put on by Grace Church tomorrow night, same time, 6:30 p.m. on Zoom. So if you haven't registered yet, you can do that. It's free. Just put in your name and information, and we hope you'll join us. So
yes.
With that, everyone take care, stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you soon.
Artists, I love you guys. Keep creating. Be creative. Much love.